The ultimate showdown between two of the most notorious drug lords in history, Pablo Escobar and El Chapo. These names are synonymous with power, violence, and unimaginable wealth. Today, we're going to explore the dark and dangerous world of drug trafficking and answer the burning question: who was the real kingpin? So, fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive into the world of organized crime. They both ruled the drug world with an iron fist, but who was the real mastermind behind the trade? Was it the ruthless Colombian kingpin Pablo Escobar, or the elusive Mexican cartel leader El Chapo? From daring prison escapes to shocking acts of violence, this is a showdown you won't want to miss. So, grab some popcorn and settle in for an epic battle between two of the most infamous drug lords in history. Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar was born into a poor family in Rionegro, Colombia. As a teenager, he began working as a smuggler, transporting contraband across the border between Colombia and Ecuador. This eventually led to his involvement in the drug trade, and he soon became the leader of the infamous Medellin Cartel. But how did he manage to become one of the most powerful drug lords in history? Pablo Escobar's success was due to his ruthless tactics and ability to outmaneuver his rivals. He was known for his use of violence and intimidation to eliminate anyone who posed a threat to his empire. But he was also a master of diplomacy, using bribery and political connections to stay one step ahead of law enforcement. What do you think was the key to Pablo Escobar's rise to power? His use of violence or his political connections? Let us know in the comments. El Chapo. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was born into a poor family in the mountains of Sinaloa, Mexico. As a young man, he began working in the drug trade as a low-level distributor for the Guadalajara cartel. But after the cartel's leaders were killed in a government crackdown, El Chapo saw an opportunity to take control. He founded his own cartel, the Sinaloa Cartel, and quickly became one of the most powerful drug lords in Mexico. His rise to power was aided in his intelligence and cunning, as well as his willingness to use violence to eliminate his rivals. But he was also known for his charisma and ability to win over the hearts and minds of the people in his community. Do you think El Chapo's charisma or his use of violence was more important to his rise to power? Let us know in the comments. Pablo Escobar's Medellin Cartel was responsible for the majority of cocaine entering the United States during the 1980s. At the height of his power, Escobar was estimated to be worth over $30 billion, making him one of the richest men in the world. But his wealth came at a great cost. The violence and corruption associated with his empire led to the deaths of thousands of people, including police officers, politicians, and innocent civilians. The Colombian government eventually declared war on the drug cartels, and Escobar was forced into hiding. Do you think the immense wealth that Pablo Escobar accumulated was worth the cost in human lives? Let us know in the comments. El Chapo's Sinaloa Cartel was one of the largest drug trafficking organizations in the world. At its peak, the cartel was responsible for importing and distributing hundreds of tons of cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine each year. This made El Chapo one of the most powerful drug lords in history. But like Escobar, El Chapo's rise to power was also marked by violence and corruption. His cartel was responsible for countless murders, and he was known for his brutal tactics when dealing with his enemies. Despite this, he remained a popular figure in his hometown of Sinaloa, where he was known for his generosity and philanthropy. Do you think El Chapo's acts of generosity and philanthropy balance out the violence and corruption associated with his drug empire? Let us know in the comments. Pablo Escobar's downfall came after a long and bloody conflict with the Colombian government. Despite being on the run for several years, he was eventually located and killed in a shootout with police in 1993. His death marked the end of an era for the Medellin Cartel, but his legacy continues to this day. Many people in Colombia still see Escobar as a Robin Hood figure, someone who used his wealth and power to help the poor and marginalized. But others view him as a ruthless criminal who caused untold damage to their country. His story has been the subject of countless books, movies, and TV shows, cementing his place in pop culture history. Do you think Pablo Escobar's legacy is more positive or negative? Let us know in the comments. El Chapo's downfall came after years of evading the authorities. He was captured and imprisoned multiple times, but managed to escape from prison on 2 occasions. His final capture and extradition to the United States in 2017 marked the end of his reign as one of the most powerful drug lords in history. But like Escobar, El Chapo's legacy is complicated. While many people view him as a ruthless criminal, others see him as a folk hero who stood up to corrupt authorities. His story has also been the subject of numerous movies and TV shows, solidifying his place in popular culture. Do you think El Chapo's legacy is more positive or negative? Let us know in the comments. Both Pablo Escobar and El Chapo were incredibly powerful and notorious drug lords who left an indelible mark on the world. While their methods and legacies may be controversial, there is no denying their impact on the world of organized crime. So who was the real kingpin? That's a question that may never be answered definitively, but one thing is for sure: their stories will continue to captivate and intrigue audiences for years to come. Thank you for watching.